Welcome to the Rotunda for the Charters of Freedom, the permanent home of all three American founding documents, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, as well as two murals by Barry Faulkner. The Rotunda is a section of the National Archives located in Washington, D.C. It was designed by John Russell Pope in the 1930s and later remodeled in 2004. On the left of the room is the Declaration of Independence. You will notice the mural above the document. This mural was painted by Barry Faulkner between 1933 and 1936. It depicts the signing of the Declaration of Independence. A committee of 5 wrote the Declaration of Independence. However, Thomas Jefferson penned the majority, with John Adams and Benjamin Franklin revising his work. It was then reported to the Continental Congress in the Pennsylvania State House, which later became known as Independence Hall. Minor changes were made before it was officially adopted on July 4, 1776. This document consists of 5 parts divided into 2 sections and the signatures of 56 delegates. Even though the Declaration was adopted on July 4th, it was not signed until August 2nd, and some delegates never signed it, such as John Dickinson and Robbie Livingston. During the night of July 4th, the printer, John Dunlap, made what is believed to be the first 26 copies of this document. To protect the other signers from the British Army, this printing only had John Hancock and Charles Thomson's signatures. On January 18, 1777, the second official printing of the document containing all the signers' names was ordered. Catherine Goddard was tasked with this printing. When you think of the Declaration of Independence, you probably picture what you saw in your history book growing up. This was likely a photo of the stone engraving. In the early 19th century, 2 publishers, John Binns and Benjamin Owen Tyler, began competing to be the first to receive confirmation from the State Department that their version was the true copy of the original. Richard Rush, the acting Secretary of State, realized the poor condition of the original Declaration of Independence when Tyler urged him to certify his copy. After John Quincy Adams became Secretary of State in 1817, it is likely that this competition pushed him to commission William J. Stone to make a replica of the Declaration of Independence in 1820. 3 years later, on June 5, 1823, Stone's copperplate engraving was completed and used to print the stone engraving. Both this copy and the copperplate are also preserved here at the National Archives. The Constitution of the United States is at the front and center of the room. Unfortunately, after only a few years under the governmental structure of the Articles of Confederation, the young nation was on the brink of collapsing. For this reason, the Congress of Confederation appointed 74 delegates to attend the Grand Convention to modify the Articles. As with the Declaration of Independence, this convention was held in the Pennsylvania State House. The 55 attending delegates immediately swore themselves to secrecy. These same delegates quickly recognized that simply modifying the Articles would not save the nation. Developed by the Constitutional Convention in 1787 and ratified in 1788, the Constitution originally contained a preamble and 7 articles, having more amendments added through the passing of years. After 4 months of debating and drafting the document, 39 of the 42 delegates present signed the Constitution on September 17, 1787. Even though the delegates signed the document, 9 of the 13 states had to ratify it before the new government could be adopted. While the states were ratifying the Constitution, multiple delegates from crucial states were afraid that this change of government would result in civilians losing the freedom they had just gained less than a decade before. Therefore, before ratifying it, they wanted a Bill of Rights added to the Constitution. Finally, after the assurance of adding this Bill of Rights at a later date, the 9th state, New Hampshire, ratified the Constitution in June of 1788, making the new governmental structure official. Continuing to the right of the Rotunda, we will notice a second mural by Barry Faulkner located above the Bill of Rights. It was also painted between 1933 and 1936, and it portrays the signing of the Constitution of the United States of America. The Bill of Rights originally included 12 amendments to protect the natural rights and liberties of the citizens, only 10 of which were ratified at this time. A few of those approved amendments are privileges of freedom of speech and assembly, rights to bear arms, trial by jury, and limiting federal government powers to those delegated in the Constitution. James Madison wrote the amendments, taking heavily from the Virginia Declaration of Rights. These amendments were promised during the process of the ratification of the Constitution. However, it took a year before getting drafted and 2 additional years before ratification in December of 1791. We can see that the Rotunda for the Charters of Freedom is an immensely intriguing room. The Founding Fathers made giant strides to better the lives of their descendants. I am incredibly thankful for their work and concern for future generations. Thank you for visiting us today. I hope you enjoyed your time at the National Archives.